प्रसीद प्रसीद मातः जगतोऽखिलस्य प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरि पाहि विश्वं त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवि समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतुः।
Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. We continue with Devi Navaratri. After listening to the Pradhama Charitra, or the first chapter, consisting of Madhu Kaitava, destruction or slaying, then several questions came up. Now, the same questions will rise even with the other stories, and the same concerns about the problems and the resolutions will come up again and again. First of all, these are not stories, this is not mythology, and these are actual happenings at certain times, historically. Particularly in the Devi Mahatmyam, we read and listen to all these stories and the stotras, and it is for our own understanding how mighty the Divine Mother is and how she is helping the Devatas. Devi is not only helping the Devatas but also helping and protecting the whole of the creation. And her main purpose is to help with our evolution and bring liberation. When one understands this Divine Mother, then it is very easy to develop devotion and love for her, because she is like your mother. You understand your mother, and then your biological mother is the extension of this Divine Mother. We understand the mother's heart, the mother's love, generosity, kindness, and forgiveness, all the great qualities that the mother extends to the child. And so it is natural, very naturally, we get drawn to the mother like a child. And this Devi Mahatmyam is really the story of the mother and her child and her children. The relationship of mother and her devotees. One can never know the infinitely infinite. We only know what we hear and what we see and what we think we know, but it is not the totality. In reality, one can never know the mother with this individual mind and individual ego and these senses. When we understand Mother is transcendental, then we also have to transcend to understand this transcendental Mother. There is no other way. You might hear from morning till night about her stories, about all the descriptions and the logical arguments and discussions, but still you will never know her unless until you transcend and you have the union with her in that transcendence. In this union with Mother, then you are face to face. You understand her and you know her and you adore her and respect her only in this true union. From my own experience, having love for Mother and having union with Mother is easier than you think, because she helps and she guides and she removes the obstacles and she removes the so-called Maya too. Here, Maya is nothing but the layers created by the gunas. The gunas, the sattva, rajas and tamas, does not allow one to know the self, one to know the pure consciousness of who you are. So one continuously thinks one is the body and not the self. So when one transcends and goes beyond the three gunas, then there is no more Maya. The Maya has come to an end because the truth is revealed. And so here Maya is revealed with the revelation of the self. Here you know the reality of Maya when you are above it and transcending it in the field of consciousness or in the field of Brahman. For example, you know darkness with the onset of light. In the same way, you will know knowledge and you will also know about the ignorance when you have the knowledge. When ignorance is being ignorance, then it does not know itself. Just like the darkness cannot see the darkness. So when there is no knowledge, then the ignorance will make all the mistakes and it imparts it to the knowledge and not to the ignorance. And this is because the ignorance doesn't know itself. So in the same way, the reality of the Maya is revealed when you are above it and you are transcending it in the field of Brahman. So once you have experienced the pure consciousness, then the truth is revealed that you are the self, that you are not the gunas, that you are not limited and you are unlimited, and that you are the bliss. Your form is the bliss, your nature is the bliss, and you are not the suffering. So this Devi, as many devatas, or this Adi Shakti manifesting as the many devatas, they are the natural laws and they reside in our physiology. So for every function there is a devata, for every organ there is a devata. And so this Mahamaya in the mind is because of the gunas. And when you begin to transcend, this Mahamaya helps you move beyond this delusion, beyond this Maya, and reveal the self of who you are. So you need the help of the Mahamaya to remove the obstacles to go beyond the Maya. So this same Mahamaya, when one is puffed up with pride and ego, or has become overpowered by the inner enemies, then more delusion can be created. More and more delusion can be created. And this is what we see in these stories with these asuras, how powerful they have become and how much pride and ego they have, and how much anger and hatred they have for the devatas, how invincible and powerful they are, how many siddhis they have accumulated, and yet they are violating the laws of dharma, how many boons they got, and yet they turn against the gods who have given them the boons. These stories, in essence, reflect the nature of these gunas, the nature of these inner enemies. And so it is not just for these asuras, it is for all the human beings, especially on the path of evolution. So whatever I bring out then will bring a resolution to all these concerns, and then help you understand these stories better, help you understand Devi better, and see how you need to organize yourself in order to evolve and to be liberated. Let us now try to understand the basis of creation. We know all the creation has started from Adi Shakti, and she is the creator, and she is not only the creator in Paramashiva, where it all began, but she is the creator again in Brahma or Vishnu or Maheshwara or any of the other manifestations of the Devi. So again, the source and the principle is Adi Shakti alone. She is the instrumentality. Just like there are several mothers, human mothers, bringing out children, there are several birds and animals bringing out babies. And in essence, we can say these are the co-creators. And again, the source of this creation is Adi Shakti alone. So if we say Brahma is the creator, then the source of Brahma is Adi Shakti alone. Because she is omnipresent and she is all pervading. Omnipresent means present everywhere. Now, having said this, let us look into a few more finer details of this creation. The entire manifested creation comes out of the 5 elements, and they are called the earth element, the air element, the fire element, the water element, and the space element. And these 5 elements are at the basis of creation. And these 5 are the result of the 3 forces which we call the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. These 3 gunas, the sattva, rajas and tamas, are the vibrations. They are actually the vibrations. And that is why we say Adi Shakti vibrated in order to bring out the creation. And they lie at the basis of the entire manifested creation. So in this process of manifestation, first give rise to ego, intellect, mind, and senses. Now, at this stage, the subjective aspect of a person, which is the self, is yet abstract. And so also the ego, intellect, mind, and senses they are still abstract. So it is in the next stage of manifestation these 5 elements spring up, and the combination of these 5 result in the variety of creation. So this objective creation coming from the 5 elements creates the whole body and all that you can see and cognize. So now we see that all of the creation has all the 5 elements and the 3 gunas, and among the elements one of the 5 will be more predominant. Next, try to understand that when there is creation, then it is on a whole range. There are the least developed creation on one end and the most highly evolved creation at the other. Now, the least developed creation will have more tamas, more inertia. And this is what we see in some of these asuras. And then there are stages of development, there are degrees of development, and the highest degree of development where the creation will be of celestial nature or divine nature. And some of these celestial beings can be pure sattva, all light, celestial bodies, and everything seems to be made of only light, brilliance and effulgence. So now we begin to see there are 5 channels of creation because of the 5 elements and the 5, one of each dominating. So in all these 5 channels of creation, the top level of creation is the Almighty Being dominated by that particular element. And this highest degree of evolution in every channel we call God. And this is how we have the Panchadevatas. And these Panchadevatas are Shiva, Devi, Ganapati, Vishnu and Aditya, the sun. Now let us try to understand this even further. So because of the gunas and because of these elements, then the whole variety has been created. But here we are looking particularly at the elements or the tattvas. We understand that some bodies and some creatures are space element predominant, others are air element predominant, others are fire element predominant, and still others are water element predominant, and finally others can be earth element predominant. So now we clearly see that the whole creation is divided into these 5 sections where space element predominance is seen, or a fire element predominance, air element predominance, earth element predominance, and water element predominance. So these become the 5 channels. And then we see that the creation can be on the gross level, on the subtle level, subtler and the subtlest. On the subtlest level is the celestial, or what we call devatas. And in these devatas, one is at the top of this creation in this channel. So it is like we having 5 presidents instead of 1 president, and then we have 5 channels of creation, or the cosmos divided into 5 channels, and there is a presiding devata for each of the 5. And these 5 devatas, we call them the Pancha Devatas, but they are governing the one cosmos, and each of them have their own tendencies, likings and dislikings, and they have their own particular nature. Now let us look at these Panchadevatas, whom we call the 5 gods. And in many Hindu homes, this Panchadevata puja is done every day. First, let us look at Lord Vishnu, Bhagavan Vishnu. He is the top of the creation where the Akasha element is predominant. Again, the creation where the Akasha element is predominant, at the top of that is Bhagavan Vishnu. Next, the creation where the air element is predominant, at the top of that is Surya Bhagavan. The creation where the fire element is predominant, at the top of that is Devi. The creation where the water element is predominant, at the top of that is Bhagavan Ganesh. And finally, the creation where the earth element is predominant, at the top of that is Bhagavan Shiva. So these Panchadevatas, they have their own space and homes. And in the long history of times, from the Vedic stories, we understand that they visit each other, they consult each other, and whenever they visit another Bhagavan, then they heap him with praises. And all these praises and prayers are saying one thing: you are universal, you are all transcendental, you are absolute, you are full, you are so blissful. And so here we see these devatas or gods praying to each other, and especially when some difficult situation in the universe has come up. And there are so many records in this Vedic history where, and especially when the dharma was at stake, that one god went to the other god and he prayed, and all of his retinue followed him. Then they sit down and make a council and bring out a solution as to how to help the cosmos and how to help the creation and how to uphold the dharma. And this is pertaining to the entire cosmos. For those who can't conceive life in the whole cosmos and can't see like that, then they look like stories, they look like mythology. And many are revealed like children's stories, like, without understanding the deeper meaning or the significance of it. So, let us also try to understand this point. There is a system in the creation. It's a systematic. Creation is systematic because there is tremendous amount of creation, very vast, so many worlds, so many solar systems, so much of diversity of the beings, and everything has to go on in a very smooth and harmonious way and an automatic way. And that is why there are so many natural laws which have come up in order to maintain this harmony and the smooth running and this automaticity. And because of this, there is no accident in creation. It is said the whole government, cosmic government, is perfect. A mango tree will only yield mangoes, and govas will only yield govas. And there is so much orderliness with these natural laws, with the dharma, that one cannot escape the Almighty's administration or government. In this normal world, present world, Anyone can fool the government. They can sneak around. They can do anything, violate the laws, and they are not even caught. But one cannot escape the Almighty's governance. So the nature, the Almighty nature or the Dharma, knows how to award or punish. And this is why most of the religious textbooks everywhere give these do's and don'ts and bring emphasis on maintaining the purity in life and not to violate the laws of nature. When you do good to others, or you do not violate the laws of nature, then naturally the nature will respond spontaneously and it will show its support. But if one has violated the natural laws and one does something bad and takes revenge, then there is also the side of the nature which also reciprocates and takes revenge on the people who have done something bad. And this is what we see in these stories, how the laws of nature are violated, where the revenge is coming from, and how Devi brings the destruction of all this. But something very intriguing to understand is that whoever were killed at the hands of Devi, they were all liberated. All the asuras were liberated. And this is her grace and this is her compassion. And so it was with Bhagavan Rama and Bhagavan Krishna also. All the asuras that were vanquished, they all were liberated. So this is the highest compassion that Bhagavan or Bhagavati Devi has bestowed. I will end here for today and we will continue on this subject. Jai Gurudev. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.